All right, I'm going to do a quick walk of our property here before the excavating starts. We can show you what's been done so far and what we're planning to do here in the next month or so. All right, this is our existing driveway. We've got just under 25 acres here out in Old West Virginia, and we're going to be extending this driveway higher up into the property that way and clearing a couple building sites in the next month here. It's the start of summer here and things are getting pretty overgrown, but you can kind of see the outline of an old logging trail here. And that's going to give us some access into the ravine at the lower part of our property, where we're not going to build, but still want to be able to walk around. All right, let's head up the driveway here and I'll show you what we're planning to do with the excavator. I'm gonna come in and take out all of these small pines that have come and grown back in since the original owner cleared this driveway, oh man, over a decade ago, I bet. The existing driveway is really not in bad shape. There's no gravel or shale or anything, it's just a dirt road. But it's been maintained pretty well to get at least up beyond the tree line here. So that's the driveway we just walked up. And you can see here, there's a little clearing where I think the original owner intended to park a camper maybe. We're gonna go ahead and clear this out more and also clear out these small stands of pines that have come back. But we're gonna clear maybe about a 30 by 30 foot level site here. It'll eventually be a workshop or a 2-car garage, but for now just give us some more parking when we have friends come camp with us. Branching off of the driveway here, you're gonna see an old logging road that we've started to clear just with hand tools, just rakes and hand saws. But this takes you up to where we currently have a little fire pit set up. We're gonna have the excavator come through and not go quite to the top of the property, maybe only about halfway up, but we're gonna clear close to an additional 1,200 feet of driveway and just make it so I can get my Jeep back up in here. We're not gonna gravel it or pave it, nothing like that. It'll just be a dirt road like the existing driveway is now, but it'll let me drive up in here. This is the second of 3 or 4 access points to the old logging roads going down into the ravine. And across from that's where we've got our fire pit set up now. And we're not going to do anything to change this area, but a lot of these trees are going to end up coming out. The build site for our home is going to be another 500 to 600 feet up this way. And to make sure we have awesome mountain views, we are going to have to cut down some of these taller pines. When we get higher up, I'll show you what we're looking for here. Now from here forward is the section of the old logging road that hasn't really been cleared or cleaned up at all. I've come through with a chainsaw once or twice and taken down some limbs just to make it more walkable. But even with that, I haven't made it all the way up to the top of the property. And the excavator will come through and clean up some of this, possibly with just a skid steer, maybe backing it down the hill, pulling all the brush with it. But we're not going to go too much further up. Like I said, it's going to be about 1,200 additional feet of driveway, and it's just not in the budget to get much higher up the property. We also start running out of land on the right side of the driveway here and can't build within 30 yards of the property line. So I want to be respectful of the neighbors and not drift too far in that direction, which will be inevitable if you go higher on the property. And I'm just keeping an eye out on the left here for the third access point to those logging trails going down into the ravine. right about there is where we're gonna build our home here in the future. All right, I found it. Can't really see it because it's so overgrown here, but that's the second access point to the ravine. And directly across from that here is where we're planning on building. So we're gonna clear about a 60-foot by 100-foot flat build site here. We're gonna clear some of the trees down in this direction so we can open up some views from the house. Obviously, we're gonna build into the side of the mountain as well, you know, maybe a garage or basement workshop there at the bottom and build on top of that so we can get as high up as possible. Try and maximize the view. But right about in here is where we're planning to build. And originally, I really liked this area and I loved these trees, and I wanted to ask the excavator to try and leave a few of them until I ID'd them. They're a tree, I think it was called Tree of Heaven, but they're extremely invasive, not native to West Virginia, and not really the best hardwood for, you know, wood burning, anything like that. The trees can get to a pretty tall size in just about 20 to 25 years, which allows them to dominate the canopy when one of the oaks or pines falls. And they have a lifespan of, you know, on average around 50 years. But the invasiveness is what gets me. They're probably gonna have to go. I'll probably have the excavator remove as many from our side of the property as possible. And it's tough to really see through the trees, but down there is where we're gonna try and open up a mountain view. I'll walk up a little bit onto the neighbor's property here and just show you what we're aiming for. So up beyond here, we're not gonna do any more work with the excavator or have them come back up this far. I may rent a bobcat or a mini skid steer at some point and try and clear this out myself in a weekend, or as much as possible. I can probably start with a chainsaw though and just get as many of these dead trees out of here on my own, or at least out of the path as I can. We're not going to be driving our cars up here, but it would be cool if we buy a little ATV or something one day to be able to get that back up here. Here's another adult Tree of Heaven in the clearing just off to the side of the logging road here. You can see anywhere the canopy kind of opens up and allows some sunshine, those trees just dominate. I guess that's what makes them invasive. All right, that's the last access point, our old logging road on our property at least, going down into the ravine. And from here, the property line kind of starts hugging the right side of the trail. So while we can go up a little further to get to the top edge of our property, there's really nothing buildable off to the right of the trail here or down in that ravine because it's so steep. So this is a cool way to walk up and see a nice mountain view. But there's really nothing usable up here, at least on our property. All right, we're at the top property line on our land here. I am gonna go a little further up the trail up onto our neighbor's property here, just so I can show you the views we're gonna try and open up by taking down some of those taller pines. Give you an idea of what we're trying to get out of this excavating job. Whew. All right, let me catch my breath here a little bit. That's a steep hill to walk up. But man, look at these views. Ours aren't gonna be quite this amazing. We're a fair bit lower down on the mountain. But once we clear out some of those pines and, you know, build the house an extra level up into the hillside, I'm hoping we'll be able to get just a little peek of this valley with Moorfield down at the bottom there. You can see Highway 55 up going through the mountainside. It's pretty nice. If I could ever talk our neighbors behind us here into selling just a few acres of their land on the back edge. I would love to buy it just to have, you know, these views, and also to have these blueberries. We're in a huge low bush blueberry patch right now, and they're gonna be ripe within a couple weeks. Might just have to see if they're okay with me sneaking back up here later. So that's really all we have planned for this summer. We're gonna try and clear some of those old logging trails down in the ravine along the stream there, just to make some places to hike and walk around. But other than that, and excavating these 2 build sites and extending the driveway, that's all we're gonna do before the fall, and then try and just enjoy it for another season before we do anything else. We'll post another video though and kind of give you an update after things start and after they wrap up to show you how it turned out. All right, one more short little bonus clip. Just walking down into the ravine to see if I can find any standing dead wood to cut some planks out of with the chainsaw. So I figure I'll show you guys what we got going on down here. This is an old logging road that, like everything else, is pretty overgrown and tough to get through. We've got some dead limbs and things to at least make it walkable, but we've got a lot more work to do to clear this out and clean it up. But the idea is that we'll be able to come down here and extend the trail up the length of the property that way along this stream, and then back out to the roadway as well. That's the way back up to that first access point. The second access point where our build site's gonna be is way further down there. And then we can cross down here on this trail, and we'll link up with another logging road that'll take us back out towards the driveway. This section's a little rough, but you'll see here, once we get up over this hill, we'll link back up with another old section of logging road that should make this a lot more passable. Lots of these giant rocky outcroppings all over the property. Really cool features to build trails by, but definitely make it tough to build. And we made it. Just gotta get up these little stone steps here, and we are back connected to the old logging trail system. This will take us right back out towards the driveway where we started. Right, you should be able to see up here, it's getting a lot sunnier. You can kind of see the power line in the distance there. That's how we know we're getting close to the driveway. See the road coming into our property. Yeah, we're just gonna pop out over this hill here through these tall grasses. And this should put us out right where the driveway is. All right, back where we started.